When you're looking at Ethereum in the next couple months, what are the biggest challenges on your mind?
Getting the merge done, I think that's been the biggest challenge for a long time. It's a problem that research has been working on for almost a decade now. It's a problem that developers have been working on for several years, and now, finally testing, finally getting quite close to actually getting it out there. So I think that's the merge is going to be this big moment that the entire Ethereum ecosystem is really looking at and focusing on, and people have a lot of big hopes and expectations for.
The man behind Ethereum Concerns blockchain's future. Who is Vitalik Buterin? Vitalik Buterin, the 28-year-old Ether cryptocurrency creator, is not a drinker or a fan of large crowds. He was in Denver for the Closing Party, a week-long cryptocurrency event dedicated to his Ethereum platform. Ethereum, the platform's native currency, has passed Bitcoin to become the second most valued cryptocurrency. He has seen the world he built expand with a mixture of pride and horror. He is concerned about the risks that overly eager investors face, as well as the rising transaction fees and shameless displays of riches that have come to dominate popular perception of cryptocurrency. As a result, he has unwillingly begun to play a larger public role in shaping its future. Moreover, Buterin has also stood up for his efforts, matching hundreds of thousands of dollars in humanitarian donations and publicly criticizing Putin's decision to invade. One bright spot of the last 3 weeks is that it has reminded a lot of people in the crypto space that the main objective of crypto is not to play games with million-dollar pictures of monkeys, but to do things that achieve meaningful effects in the real world. Buterin wrote to Time in an email on March 14th, "For a leader who has battled to find his political voice, his outspoken support is a pleasant change. One of the decisions I made in 2022 was to attempt to be more risk-taking and less neutral." Buterin adds, "I'd prefer Ethereum upset some people and grow into something meaningless."
You've got a lot of people out there, a lot of people who are trying to understand cryptocurrency, who are placing their bets. What's your prediction for Bitcoin? Does it replace the dollar? Does it exist in 50 years, or is it something else? And then similarly, what's your prediction for Ethereum? Because a lot of investors are choosing to hold both, or one or the other.
I think replacing the dollar completely is unlikely, just because there's things that the dollar provides, like price stability, for example, that Bitcoin is not going to provide. I think even in a theoretical world where the US dollar collapses, even then, I think Bitcoin is not going to be able to provide the level of stability that users and businesses expect to be able to set prices in. And in that kind of world, we would need something else. It could be decentralized stable coins, it could be something else, but we'll see. But at the same time, I think cryptocurrency can still have a very powerful and important role alongside existing currencies.
Buterin has Russian and Ukraine origins, so this is a personal struggle for him. He was born outside of Moscow in 1994, a few years after the government collapsed, to Dmitry Buterin and Natalia Ameline, two computer experts. In addition, Vitalik was also born with a disordered, overflowing mind. Vitalik, according to Dmitry, learned to read before he could sleep through the night and was slower to form sentences than his colleagues. It was actually tough for him for some time to explain himself verbally, since his thoughts were running so quickly, Dmitry adds. Vitalik, on the other hand, was attracted to the clarity of numbers. He obtained his parents' old IBM computer when he was 4 years old and began experimenting with Excel spreadsheets. He could memorize over 100 decimal places and would call out arithmetic formulae to pass the time when he was 7. He began coding in Microsoft Office applications when he was 12 years old. The social anxiety of the bright boy had been worsened by a relocation to Toronto in 2000, the same year Putin was elected for the first time. His father regarded Vitalik's Canadian boyhood as lucky and pure, whereas Vitalik views himself as lonely and disconnected. Dmitry first introduced Vitalik to Bitcoin in 2011. After seeing the collapse of financial institutions in both Russia and the United States, Dmitry became attracted to the idea of an alternative global money source that was uncontrolled by the government. Vitalik quickly began publishing articles about the new technology for the publication Bitcoin Weekly, for which he got 5 bitcoins, around $4 at the time. It is now worth over $200,000. Furthermore, at the age of 18, Vitalik Buterin co-founded and became the lead writer for Bitcoin magazine. As a child, he proved himself as a gifted writer, capable of explaining complicated thoughts about Bitcoin in simple text. He started to believe that using Bitcoin just for financial gain was a waste of time. Blockchain technology has the potential to be an effective method of securing many types of investments. In 2013, Vitalik Buterin wrote a white paper explaining his vision for an open-source blockchain. He imagined a decentralized platform on which anybody could build whatever they wanted. The founders were a group of 8 people who were developing programming and looking for financing. Other members of the organization, he says, were seeking to promote their own ideas about how the platform should operate.
Whether Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the blockchain really are changing the world seems to be an ongoing debate. Is crypto the future, or is it a fad?
I think it's the future that contains fads, much like the internet was the future and the internet contained fads. There's definitely specific kinds of applications that do get overhyped from time to time, like ICOs back in 2017, and then certain kinds of DeFi right now. But at the same time, there's other DeFi projects that really are valuable. There's a combination of both, right? And figuring out which is maybe it's something that's difficult to see ahead of time, and it's something that we as an ecosystem are going to find out.
In addition, co-founder of Ethereum Foundation and Bitcoin magazine, Vitalik Buterin shared his thoughts on the future of blockchain, the state of Ethereum, and more during a small private event held in San Francisco last week. Buterin's informal conversation with Jason Su, hosted by the Blockchain at Berkeley student-run group, Origin, and Steve Chen, creator of the Modernist Social Club, presented views into important issues now affecting the crypto community. A few months ago, there were reports that Google was interested in hiring you. I'm guessing you're in town for a job interview, Su joked to Buterin. I hope we all understand that this was a joke. Some random Google HR worker emailed me, most likely because a machine learning algorithm examined my GitHub and discovered that I had a good score in an international Olympiad. Obviously, I fit the criteria as a wonderful candidate to hire as an intern pay, Buterin laughed. Finally, this isn't the first time Buterin has raised concerns about Bitcoin. Buterin warned investors about the unpredictability of the industry in 2018, advising them that traditional investments were still a better place to spend their life savings. Never put more money into an investment than you can afford to lose, he stated. So that was it for today's video, and if you find it useful, hit the like button. For more videos, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get any updates from our channel.